Good morning, Cowboy Jim. Hey, boy, oh boy, she's a fine day to be alive compared to the alternative. Yes, I, I think I made about did about six videos yesterday. I had so wanted to hear from a little girl from the past that she was all right, and I think I did. Pretty sure I did, and that's all I needed was to know that she made it through. And when I make a video, I rewatch it about 3 times. If there's a question in my mind, I will watch it upwards of 6 times before I put it on YouTube. And the rationale for that is this. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities in high places. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand anything about the harsh reality of walking with your whole heart before our Lord God, our Father, and my Lord and Savior. And my son tells me, get a haircut, Dad, you look 20 years younger. I feel 40 years younger now. I don't know what would happen if I cut my hair, but I'm not going to do it. And I made a list this morning, just off the top of my head, the stories that I'd kind of like to contemplate doing. And this list is, well, it's something in the neighborhood of close to 30. It doesn't mean squat when you have been around as long as I have. If you have a memory at all, which I've never had a really good memory, not since I was a kid. I realized yesterday I haven't changed very much at all since I was a kid. I do everything with the same inept forward motion that I ever did. I mean, I haven't changed. I personally don't like change, unless it's really for the good. So here, I'll tell you, I just am so glad about that little girl from the past. And there's another statement I have to make. I spoke the other day about a plumber who he is the man who was the first to call me Rev. 10 years or 15 years later, I was in downtown Olds, which isn't that big, and a cute little girl, not short, and her brother were heading towards me, and brother said, "Rev, how you doing?" And I thought, well, I said, "I'm doing really good." And I looked at the kid. I said, "You're Ross Campbell's son?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Rev, my sister and I, we were just hoping you're well." I said, "Thank you." And so the point I'm making is, in my memory, I knew that plumber whom I respected like you wouldn't believe. He's the only man I ever knew who never once laced up his work boots. Not once. Because he would walk into a house. If it was a finished house, he'd have to take his boots off anyway, so he just slipped them off and go do his stuff. And if he were in a house Roughing In Plumbing, which is incidentally that giant Milwaukee drill. That's the one he lost. He never did get that one back, but at least he found the lying thief who claimed to be a Christian and yet was stealing everybody's tools. And so here, let's get busy before you get bored. I don't want you to go to sleep. Okay. Back in 1988, I had the privilege and the honor of being able to purchase 5 acres of land at the Olds Overpass. We had lived for 9 years at the Didsbury Overpass. We rented. It was cheap. I mean, that's why we rented. Well, we also didn't have a whole lot of money. But God had always given me a gift, and a few of my friends back in Ontario, they said, Martin, you have a golden horseshoe shoved right up where it shouldn't be. And it's true. Everything I touched, God turned to money. Until one day, God stopped turning. And I learned very quickly who the author and finisher of my economic well-being was in my life. And it wasn't me. It was God. Okay, let's get down to it. I picked a hitchhiker up just west of the Olds Overpass, a native kid, 18, 20, something. Skinny child, and he was limping. And so I pulled over. He jumped into my truck and asked him where he was going. He said, Sundre. I said, what are you going out to Sundre for, son? He said, I'm going for physio. I said, where are you coming from? And he said, up near Wetaskiwin. And I said, you're kidding me. He said, no. He said, I got injured out at Sundre, paralyzed. And he said, I've been going there for physio ever since. And he said, I'm getting better. And I said, well, in what way are you getting better? He took his foot. And I can't do this because, I mean, I treated myself hard. And I've gotten off horses when actually I shouldn't have. But it wasn't intentional. It was just somewhat of a gravitational thing that was exerted upon me. And he brought his foot up, and he had runners on. I looked. I mean, I just casually looked down, and I saw his toe sticking right out the bottom of the shoe. And there was no sock on that big toe. There was no skin on that big toe. It was raw meat. I said, son, what's up with your shoes? Oh, he says, because I was paralyzed for a while, my toes bent down. When my toes bent down, they wouldn't come up. And so I'd wear through the bottom of my shoes, and then my socks would be going, and the gravel would take my skin off. I said, you're kidding? He said, no. I'm thinking. I have $24 in my pocket. That's all I have. And I thought, geez, I'm fat enough. I don't need to eat today. And so I said to the young man, I said, we're tooling into Olds and my old Ford 40-inch tires, 6-inch lift. I mean, that was a big girl. And taught me how to get my foot up there where I can, well, it's a little too close to my mouth, I guarantee you, but I could step up into that truck, but she took a bit of effort. I said, what's your name? He told me. I can't remember that. I don't remember things. And I said, do you know Olds very well? He said, yes, I do. I said, where in Olds would you find sneakers that a person wouldn't mind wearing? Of course, I'd never wear sneakers anyways. I haven't wore sneakers. Basketball, I guess, perhaps, well, badminton, definitely. I I had the athletics for that. But he said, the sand store. And I said, where's that? Oh, he says, in the little shopping mall. And I thought, oh, shoot. That's the shopping mall that my oldest boy climbed out of the truck one day, went over to a drug dealer. Drug dealer climbed out of his truck, and they just went at it. My son didn't happen to like drug dealers that sold to children. Drug dealer didn't happen to like my son. Our CMP sat there and cheered my son. Fist fight right in the middle of the shopping plaza. My son didn't do very well. No, that big drug dealer, he was Irish as well, and he had a reach on him that was pretty long. And but my son said, I got him, Dad. I said, how'd you do that? He said, well, he broke his hand on my head. And that's a very interesting perspective. I mean, I think that was pretty intelligent of my boy. To look beyond the pain of his head being cracked so hard with a fist that the fist broke. Anyway, so this young native guy and I pulled into the sand store. He says, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to buy you a new pair of runners. Well, he said, you can't. I said, well, I can. So I said, get your sorry buns out of the truck and let's go in and find some runners. And here's a tribute to a grateful but a non-entitled perspective. I said, let's find some shoes, runners. He went right over to the barrel, had $10 written on the side. I looked at the runners and I thought, well, I'm not going to get caught dead in runners. I mean, shoot, I go to the beach, which I did about 35, 40 years ago. I would wear my cowboy boots and my hat. Well, I wore trunks too. I mean, dear Lord, let's get real here. Well, I sure wouldn't wear runners. And I said, you like those runners? He said, of course. He said, look, they're cheap. I said, I wouldn't buy my son those runners. I wouldn't buy my son's runners anyways. They wouldn't wear them. And so I said, let's go to the next barrel. Well, I already had $24 to work with anyways. And I said, pick a pair out here. Well, he picked a pair. They were $14. I said, you need socks. Well, he said, not really. I said, son, you need socks. So we went over to a bulk thing of socks. We got them 3 pair, and we come over to the cash register, and I was paying for them, and I said, put them on. He said, I'm not putting these on. He said, you don't expect me to wear these shoes. These are too pretty. I said, listen, son, you put those stupid things on your feet. You do it now. You sit your sorry. I'm a bit rough. I said, put your buns on the floor and you change your socks and you change your shoes. And so he did, and I paid, and he's carrying the socks and the shoes out of the store that he had taken off. They had holes, I think, in both toes. I only saw the one toe. I only saw the blood coming out of the one toe. And he wasn't whining nor complaining. He didn't look Irish. I'm telling you. He didn't complain. Most Irish don't whine, bitch, and complain. Perhaps that's not right, but I don't. And I said, give me those shoes, son. And I asked the lady, and she showed me the garbage can. I fired them in. I grabbed that young man by the shoulder, and I got him out the front door before he could go back and drag those things out of the garbage. I said, you hungry? He said, yes, I am. I said, good. I took the remaining change. Well, I think it was only about $5-6. I said, right across the street. You can go over there and get bacon and eggs. I know it's good. It's about $4.95. So I said, you get your sorry buns over there and you buy yourself breakfast. He said, like, why are you doing this? And I looked at him and I said, well, were you my son? One of my sons? I'd do this much for them. Why wouldn't I do this much for you? No, he had a bit of a time with that one. And so I said, you get your buns over there and you buy yourself breakfast. He said, I will. I said, you have a good day. I climbed in my old Ford and I headed west and then south to Cremona. That's where I was working. I remember. I mean, that's about 1980. Shoot. It could have been 78. Doesn't matter. I thought, in this day and age of self-grandizement, where people declare unto themselves in the morning when they look in the mirror. I had a heavy equipment operator instructor at HEO in Innisfail, and he said, he stopped me one day. I was fortunately, WCB had sent me to school, and I was there with a purpose. And dear Lord God in heaven, I was going to do my best, and I did, every day, in every way. I tried to honor my father. I don't mean my earthly father either. And I did honor my mother. And that one who took my place on the cross, I guarantee you. And head guy come over, he said, why do you work so hard? I said, it's my duty. It's my obligation. He said, what do you mean? I said, it's the only way that I may well get to share the reality of Jesus Christ with anyone is just by how I work and my right attitude and my respectful attitude. He said, you're already the best worker we have. I thought, yeah, probably, yeah, right. I wasn't far off. I don't know, I wouldn't put much stock in what he was saying. Because who knows, he might have said that to everyone just in order to placate them a bit or whatever. I could care less. And he said, you have 2 weeks left in school. I said, yeah. He said, tomorrow morning when you get up, I want you to stand in front of the mirror. And he said, I want you to tell yourself, I deserve every single blessing that I get today. Every single good thing that happens to me today is because I work so hard. Every single thing that happens to me that's good, I deserve. I said, sir, I said, you want to know what I tell myself when I look in the mirror? He said, I'm not sure. I said, well, I'll tell you anyways. Well, I'm going to tell you. I say, God, allow me the privilege and the honor of trying to live, though I'm not well equipped, to my best ability to honor you. And I say, but for your grace, what we call, but for the grace of God, I could be living on the street. He couldn't understand that because he didn't understand this. Jesus Christ took my place on the cross for my sins. I didn't earn it. I did not merit it. It was not my God-given right to be at peace with God because I'm white or black or brown or red, yellow, whatever. It is but a gift from God himself in the person of Jesus, of the Christ, not Jesus Christ. That's not his name. He is Jesus, who is the Christ, the Messiah, the Redeemer, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. Get it? I've had a lot of fun. I have said I've been where I shouldn't have been. In some ways I have. I've had the privilege of being married to 3 different women. All in their own way, extremely good women. Characteristics, attributes that differ. Everyone differs in many ways. I spend a bit of time to time, and I sometimes don't use words. I do not believe in the last 6 months that one single day has gone by without my asking my father to take care of a little black-haired woman that I met. Keep her safe. I have prayed, hurt. Whoa, dear Lord, hurt. I prayed, God, if I'm not going to be the man for that lady, then you find a man, a good man, with a right heart, who will treat her good, and you cause them to fall in love. And Father, I'll be eternally grateful for you taking care of that girl. I touched on a few little issues here. I live by my heart, by my wits, by my guts. This, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities in high places. That's not funny. I'm telling you. There are some mean-spirited, God-forsaken, fatherless children out there who would just want nothing but to humiliate a Christian, not a Muslim, not a Buddhist, not half the other people in the world who are religious. And I'm not religious. I don't believe in religion. I don't even call myself a Christian anymore. I don't want to. That term Christian, that's gone downhill real hard. When it first started out, it was real good. Antioch, I think, is where, I think, I'm not certain, was where the first person was called a Christian. I'm telling you, since then it's gone in the toilet because of that same stupidity of that man saying, stand in front of the mirror, tell yourself how good you are. Boy, I tell you, little ones, I'm a rugged old man, and there's only a few words that I would use to rebuke that stupidity. And it would have a lot to do with hay that had already been processed and was laying on the ground, and that's what it would be. But I don't need to go there. That young native man, he didn't stand in front of a mirror and tell himself how good he was. He hitchhiked 75 miles to go to physiotherapy, probably stayed out in Sundre for the week, and then he'd go back for the weekend. And I think of people like that. I think of people with guts, who are men and or women. I'm telling you, there are a lot of women out there who have guts, a lot more smarts than the average man. I guarantee you. I mean, really, I guarantee you. But we as a people, we're given this glorious opportunity to get up in the morning. I hope one day there'll be a black-haired warrior woman laying next to me, and we'll have hands that will hold on to each other and hearts that share love, real love. And I sure want to call that lady my wife. But if that doesn't happen, and God in his wisdom finds another for her, I'll tell you this, I'll ask him to bless him. Because our lives are but a vapor. Many people, one wonderful person said, a lot of age difference. I said, yes, indeed. And I thought about that later, and I thought, I'd like to know what the average span of a marriage is nowadays. It's probably only about 3 to 5 years. Well, I have a good 15 to 20 years left in me. And so that's 15 years longer than probably the average marriage has lasted. And we're not going into the future with any guarantees. You aren't. I'm not. Tomorrow morning, I may wake up dead. Or I'll pull another stupid stunt with a little black bear that unfortunately was put down. But I did everything I could. I let that little guy get real close to me before I found out whether or not that can of bear spray I had in my hand would work. Thank God it worked. I tell you, I don't know that I'd like to have a punching match with my hands so stove up with a black bear. That thing was running at me like it was really going. Oh, geez. Anyways, I like that sort of crap. Here it is, 27 minutes and 7 seconds. You're going to live till you die. Well, you better enjoy yourself. You might as well make something worthwhile out of your life. Second statement. If you can't listen to the Lord, if you can't hear God, well, you're sure going to get off the trail. That's fact. Third one. Don't children say the strangest things? Yes, they do. And your job and mine, not if you choose to take it. It's your job, is to take care of baby children. I think it's about time that little children were not ripped and torn physically. I have a friend, Métis, half Cree, half Scot. He said, Jim, my stepdad first started raping me when I was 2. I said, you gotta be kidding. He said, no. And he said, he was raping my baby sister from about the same age. And I think, don't you bloody think it's time that we as a people stood up and said, no more of this crap. We're really interested that we have a mask on. Oh, that's good. COVID. Oh, that's good. There are baby children who are being used and abused. And I think it's long past their welcome. They wore it out. You infringe your will on a baby? You idiot. You stupid person. On a baby. Dummy. Fourth thing. Solomon said to his son, I'd better look up that boy's name, huh? I just better check his name out, because it's not jumping into my memory, and I'm telling you, I remember scripture. I can't remember whether I ate yesterday. I never have. Shoot, I've gone 3 days without eating and then realized I'm feeling a bit peaked. And then think, dear Lord, I haven't eaten. So, It's just not that important to me. But anyways, I'm going to find that boy's name out. Solomon said, listen, son, you're going to live, you're going to die, and then you're going to meet God. So live according to the fact that you're going to meet God. I can tell you everything. I don't have to tell you squat. Well, I think I have about 31 videos on here. I've led the sinner's prayer for a long time. It doesn't matter what I do; it matters what you do. So listen, I'm going to try to do about. I mean, I have 30 to choose from. I'm just going to take a run and see if I can do eight videos today. The problem is, if God doesn't bless them, they're not going to amount to squat. If my heart's not right, it's not going to amount to anything. If there isn't someone sitting out there whose heart has been broken, terribly broken, if you can't forget those things that happened to you as a child, you're going to have a hard time living as an adult. So those things that you can't bear, that you cannot handle, that rip and rend and tear you, you have to learn somehow to take them and lay them at the foot of the cross and say, God, I cannot bear this pain, this agony, these memories. See, abusers, they want the abused to feel responsible for what happens to them. Children aren't responsible. Adult women aren't responsible for what happened to them as a child. God's not responsible either. God gives us free will. And sometimes he allows evil to reign. Because it's going to reign. Because God has given us free choice, free will. A lot of times people say, well, God's not fair. Well, you're in pretty good shape if you can judge God. Let me tell you, you just give her hell. I learned I'm not judging anyone. My life is a vapor. Yeah, I get anywhere near where I can have a chance to have adrenaline pumping hard, I'll walk in it. I'm going to tell you this. I'm not ever going to be stupid enough to drive by and not stop. It's not ever happening again. Never. Reach out and grab life, children. You may only have a year or 10, but I'll tell you this, whether it is only one day, you live it to the full. You live it to the full. You honor God. I used to be a bit rough around the edges. I'd say to myself, oh, let's go and kick some ass. What that meant was, let's go and work as hard as we can. Let's have as much fun as we can. Let's honor God as much as we can. Okay, you ready? I'm going to turn this thing off. And if you ever want to get in touch with me, a French girl, Robin's Donuts. At the end of that story, I left my phone number. You can call me. Shoot, probably only have 12 people watching these videos. I don't know what's wrong with people. Well, they don't believe what I say. Well, I don't really care, because I know what I say is true. Okay, God bless you. Have a good day. Enjoy it. Could be your last, but it could be the first of the next 10,000. That's a good thing about living. We don't have a clue. God bless, eh? I mean, really. Make your life count. God bless.